We are live.
We're live? Okay,
Yes.
perfect.
Yeah, we are live now.
Okay, great, sir. You can begin.
Okay.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. All of you who are joining in. We'll be beginning with a workshop on scientific protocol writing by the research committee in a minute. Yeah.
Yeah, we are live now.
So, could you mute the
Yes,
other
yes,
device? Yeah,
yes,
perfect.
yes, yes, done.
Okay, great, sir. So, you can begin.
Okay, so guys, good evening. So I'm Dr. Ajit, National Director for Research at WHF, and today we are going to talk about the scientific protocol writing. Am I audible, Sweta? Is it fine?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Okay, so today we are going to discuss about the scientific protocol writing, and this is a workshop, and as you know, we are conducting the heartbeat for last 1 week, and it will be go until our World Heart Day, which is on 29th September. So let's start with the scientific protocol writing. So I feel few questions I should start with for you guys. Like you may have some good knowledge of research, or you may not, because as I have seen the list of participants yesterday, you all are in your undergrads, or very few are in your postgrads. So I hope I'll try to go in a right way, in a smooth way, in a easy way to all of you. So let's start. So first of all, what is the scientific protocol? You know, writing protocol is the later part. First, we should know what is the scientific protocol. Correct. So the protocol is the first document. It is the first document you will have to write when developing a new project in the scientific protocol. I mean, it's the scientific protocol. It's the first document you have to write before starting a project. Yeah. So the protocol is actually, I have kept in the points. These all the points should be there in the protocol. So I just kept in these points. Protocol is summarized, brief, continuous proposal. Proposal. Okay. Why I'm talking proposal? Because you are proposing your idea to someone. You are proposing your idea to ethics committee. You are proposing your idea to other researchers. Correct. So it should be summarized, brief. It should have good content, and it should be a proposal draft of your idea. It is basically your idea, which you have written in a systematic way, in a Word file or in a paper. What you're going to propose to ethics committee for the approval, what you're going to propose to sponsor for the fundings, what you're going to present to editorials to get it published. So it is a new idea. It is something new. It is something authentic. It is something novel, right? So it should be there should be something, novelty of the protocol, novelty of your idea. It is very important. Okay. So this is basically your idea, which is in a systematic way with all the execution details. What are the execution details? Like how you are going to conduct your study, what are the resources you are using, what is the methods, what is the design, study design, and everything. So if we uh, just look at the definition in once. So protocol is summarized, brief, continuous proposal draft of your idea with the execution details. You got my point? So this document should contain everything what I've written in the uh, slide. And why we are writing any protocol? If we have an idea, we can talk to someone, we can tell over phone, we can talk, we can tell in person, or we can meet someone, we can meet a sponsor, or we can meet our ethics committee, and we can tell them, sir, we have this idea, we are going to conduct this like this, we have this methodology, and why to write. We have to write this draft, we have to write this document to know about our timelines, to remind our timelines to everyone that yes, we are going to finish this protocol, or we are going to finish this proposal, or this project or this study within 3 years. Okay, so timelines, like when we are going to start, when we are going to finish, when we are going to recruit our patients, or when we are going to put the intervention in our study. So there are various timelines. When we are planning to publish the paper, when we are planning to analyze the result parts of the proposal, or of your study, of your whatever is there, your project. Correct. So it reminds us about the timelines. You know, it reminds us about the execution plan. you know we can follow a plan. Sometimes we know everything but we forget, right? So to remind everyone, we should have some uniform plan, we should have some uniform execution plan. We should have something uniform to everyone, all the participants in the study, all the sponsor, investigator, or the medium mediators like CRAs, or the clinical research associates, or the students, or the coordinators in the college, right? So we should have some uniform SOPs, like standard operating procedures. We should have some unique or uniform plan to everyone, right? So that's why we made a plan, we make a protocol, right? In that case, everyone will have the uniform plan, and everyone will go with that plan, right? So it will show us what are the resources we need to conduct our study. Resources means what? There are many types of resources. Resources means it could be budget to conduct your study, it could be manpower to conduct your study, it could be some lab kits to which we are using in your protocol, or in our protocol, in our in our project, some testing kits, or some diagnostic tools, or some kind of computers, or anything, whatever we are using, whatever resources we are using, we should include in our protocol to show our budget, right? To show our budget and where we are going to conduct. So all the resources, the college department, or x-rays, or ECG, echo, whatever interventions, whatever diagnostic tools, whatever other useful parts we are going to use, useful tools we are going to use, we should keep in our protocol. So it will remind us, or it will give us a plan about the resources also. Then about the outcomes, what we are thinking, what we will get about after our project, what we will get after our study. Suppose we are conducting a study on heart failure patients, and we are giving some new drug, sacubitril and valsartan, right? The neprilysin inhibitor and ARB combination, right? Which is called ARNI. Correct. If we are giving ARNI to a heart failure patients, so what outcomes we are looking for? Okay, we have fixed some timelines, we have some execution plan. This study will be randomized controlled trial, and we need so many centers, we need so much of money, we need this much amount of document, this much amount of drug, and this much amount of other resources, and this much and that how many research coordinators we need, how many CRAs we need to complete this study. So that things comes under the resources. But what about the outcomes? Without outcomes, no study will going to complete. First we have to propose our hypothesis. Hypothesis means your what you are planning, what is the outcomes you are supposed to get out of your project, out of your study, right? So this outcomes means like as I was giving the example of heart failure and sacubitril valsartan. So what we are supposed to give, what we are supposed to get out of this intervention, what we are supposed to get after giving this drug to the patient. We are thinking like this drug will affect positively in the patients, and it will reduce the symptoms of the heart failure in the patient, and it will improve the lifestyle, if it will improve the quality of life of the patient, it will improve the brisk walk capacity of the patient. So these are the outcomes what we expect. So that also we have to write in our protocol, to show to any sponsor, to show to any journal or anything, what we are expecting out of this protocol, what we are expecting out of this study or our project. Correct. Then we have to write the benefits. These benefits could be for the sponsor, these benefits could be for the research institute, this could be for the patient, this could be for the investigator, this could be for the society, anything. Like sponsor will get maybe approval after the positive outcomes of the drug. Institute will retain their patients because they are conducting the huge studies and they're getting uh, you know uh, great studies going on in their centers, and they are recruiting the patients into the trials, so they have good reachability to the patient. And the researcher or the investigator will get the credits. So what the patient will get, we have to write the patient's benefit also, community benefits also. Maybe patients will get improved in their symptoms, and community will get some new drug out of this. So we have to write the benefits out of it to in every aspect, to every stakeholder who is participating in this project or who is participating in our uh, uh, this big study. Then risk factors, this is very important. Risk factors are very important, which is something we have to look out everywhere in our every study, in our every protocol. Because we have some side effects of the drug, we have some side effects of the interventions, we have some harms, physical harms or mental harms, or social harms to the patient, or social harms to the related persons or the family of the patient. So we have to describe all the risk factors also. We have to describe in protocol, right? And then this is of course a standard operating procedure where we include everything about the operations or execution. So that's why we write any protocol. Correct. So actually the protocol demonstrates the guidelines for conducting the trial. It's the guidelines, right? Which includes everything related to timelines, plans, resources, outcomes, benefits, risk factors, or anything. Okay. So what are the aims of the protocol? Again, why we're writing? It's in different form. We write the protocol to raise the question, to be researched and clarify its importance, right? Or we write the protocol to collect the existing knowledge. In protocol we have one part which is called as literature review. So in that we collect the literature, we collect the data from the past studies, or from the past uh, randomized control trials, or from the past observational studies, past literature. We have to go through, we get a chance to go through the literature, and we search there what they have done, what the other researchers have done related to this topic. Correct. In the literature review, we come to know if we can go for this study. Okay, suppose you are thinking about utilization of metformin in diabetes patients. You are new, you are in first year, and you don't know about metformin. You are thinking, oh, let's do something because my grandmom was taking metformin. So let's check if the metformin is actually useful in diabetes or not. So if you ask me, it is not at all useful. It is not at all worth to do a protocol, not at all worth to even invest a single penny, because it is already done a lot of research studies, lot of randomized control trials, lot of systematic reviews, meta-analysis, lot of multi-centric studies are already there. That doesn't mean you are aware or not. It's up to you. It is your problem. So for that, to avoid that part, to avoid that the wastage of your resources, wastage of your time, or to avoid wastage of your money, you can go for a literature search. And that's why protocol needs an extensive literature review, literature search. Okay, so you can frame your question correctly, you can frame your title correctly, you can frame your objective correctly in a right way. Correct. That's why we do our literature search, to get the exact title. Correct. So when we go through the literature review, we look at the every aspect, how they did the study, how they conducted the study. What was the procedure? What was the execution plan of the study in past proposals, in past protocols? So we should divert from this, or we should include that part, or we should not include that part. We have to think, we have to think in a wide way about the literature search. Based on the literature search only, we should go on, or we should go ahead with our protocol, our project, what we are going to do, or what we are deciding to do. Correct. So in that, the protocol is actually to formulate a hypothesis and objectives, as I was discussing. We have to find out the correct objectives, what we can do and what are feasible as per our available resources, right? And then to clarify the ethical considerations. Ethical considerations means what? Ethical considerations could be the ethical approval, could be the rights of patients, could be the rights of investigator, could be the rights of family, which is or who is related to family persons who are related to the patients. So ethics considerations should be there always. So the aim of the one of the aim of the protocol is to clarify the ethical considerations and to suggest the methodology required for solving the question and achieving the objectives. So methodology part will include your design of the study, site of the study, duration of the study, and okay, everything it will include about the study design, or the methodologies, or what are the interventions you are going to use, what are the statistical analysis or statistical tests you are going to put in your analysis at the end of your study. Everything you have to resolve, you have to show to audience, you have to show to sponsor in the protocol. you know like if there is some lab testing, if you're going in heart failure patients only, if I suppose I'm doing one study in heart failure patients, so what should be the diagnostic tests, like ECG, echo, NT-proBNP, or CKMB, to rule out the any additional CAD or something. So all the things what we are going to do, all the interventions, all the uh, uh, kind of things if you're going to do, that can be included in the protocol. Then to discuss the requirement and limitations. Limitations means that if you have some limitations, you are not going to include everything, but your resources tells you like resources tell you like, so you cannot go with this aspect of this study. You cannot go multicentric, you have to restrict yourself to only one center because of the financial constraint, right? Or you cannot go to the elderly patients because there is a risk of some severe side effect. So that kind of limitations also you should consider while writing a protocol. Okay. Then what are the benefits of the protocol? It will allow the researcher to plan and review the project's steps. Exactly what we were discussing before. Steps, all the SOPs. It will discuss. It will use. It can be used as a guidelines. As I told you, guidelines throughout the research. It will tell you about the forces, time, and budget estimates. Okay. So what are the components of a protocol? Now we are here on a correct uh, title, what we are going to discuss today in brief, and like in different aspects of the protocol is components. What should be there in the protocol? So every institute and ethics committee have their own format, everywhere its own. Some institutes, they have only 3 4 components in the manuscript. Some institute have the descriptive protocol. We have to write everything, each and every part of the project. So we usually follow, what we Indians follow is ICMR, Clinical Trial Registry of India is CTRI, or what US follows is NIH, Clinical Trials Gov. .gov. And everyone can anyone can follow WHO guidelines. And I feel as I go through the WHO guidelines or WHO protocol writing things, these are wonderful. You will get everything in that. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so these are the protocols, or these are the agencies we follow, organizations we follow for the uh, protocol. Okay, so I think I should share some other screen now. So right now I have my colleague Dr. Chakshu Joshi. He's our associate director in associate of director in WHF research committee. So Dr. Chakshu, if you want to put add on something to this till now.
Uh, yeah, actually, initially, before I start, there is one question from participant that what should one approach for any research?
Yes, please. You can.
Would you like? Yeah.
You want to answer that?
Well, what should one approach is depending on your local institute actually. If you are currently pursuing undergraduate, then ideally it should be the your institute should have one ethical committee and a scientific committee. Then that committee's protocol is should be followed. While talking on the large scale, we can follow this CTRI depending on what kind of study we are doing, or
Yes.
ICMR and WHO protocol. They are freely available.
Yes. So one approach, according to me, it should be your personal ethics committee and IRB definitely. And while conducting any research, you should have the aim, or you should have the proper narrowed down objective, or proper narrowed down question. Proper narrowed down question before conducting any research, or before even approaching the ethics committee. You should have the question. If you do not have the question, you cannot even write a protocol. So first you should narrow down your question. You should search the you should go for the preliminary literature search, and you should go for the feasibility check. You should go for the question, then only you should go to the protocol part. And then you should only think of the to approach some sponsor, or you should think to approach the ethical committee, or you should start conducting or start recruiting your patients. Are there independent review boards in India? No. If you are attached with any institute, you have to go through the institutional ethical committee or institutional review board. Then only you can proceed to CTRI. Nowadays, CTRI is mandatory for every institute. Anyone who is conducting even institutional level study, they have to register their study or project in the CTRI. Okay. As per the first year student in third sem, sir, how do I get about conducting or assisting in a research project? You can be a coordinator. You can, help in collecting the data, because I think in third year you are allowed to go to the wards. You can even go to the uh, MRD, medical records department, if they are conducting some research. So you can collect the data from there. You can interact with the patients just to get the basic informations, baseline informations. So Dr. Chakshu, anything you want to keep in that?
Yeah, in here also the first thing already mentioned by Dr. Ajit also that most important one is to have a proper research question and to have a thorough review of literature about that question. Research question should have all the aspects. It is not just a question that my formula is working or not, but a whole complete research question: time, place, and person specific. Is it working in diabetic type 2 patient in controlling blood sugar, reducing blood sugar that way? At what dose? That kind of question should have all the completeness, and then you should try to search component wise. Do not search whole question in any of the these sites you see, the search engines like
Yes,
PubMed or Google Scholar. Search component wise.
we
There are
can
some
we can we can
keywords,
we can we can yeah, we can
like
talk
for
about
this
this.
research question.
Yes, we can talk about the search also. If we get if time allows, I will talk about the research, the literature search also. Yeah. So next question, I'll take just two more questions with right now, and then others will take at the end, or after some time in between.
Sure, so that's fine. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine.
Okay, yeah. So, how do we come up with the idea or questions we want to conduct impactful studies? Dr. Chakshu just described that you have to go through the literature first. I'll tell you the basic concept behind raising a question. You know, you are going through your textbooks, you are going going through the journal papers, you are going through the articles. So when you are reading something and something clicks on your mind immediately, in that brainstorming is very important. When you are doing some practical, or when you are looking at the patient, you get everything, but something which is you are not getting up, you go and do the literature search. If you are reading a book, you think, okay, this part is not clear, go and do a literature search. If it is not available, then that is your question, that is your research question. If something strikes in your mind which is not available in the literature, okay, or which is minimally available in the literature, is your research question, I'm telling you. So just brainstorm, read thoroughly, go through your books nicely, go through the research papers, recent guidelines, and in nowadays in the papers, systematic reviews, in the guidelines also, they write we need to explore much this drug. We have only limited literature, or we have limited studies related to this topic, or related to this drug, or related to this pharmacological component. So you can take up that, you can take up that, and you can start search the literature. And after searching the literature, if you do not get anything, you can make it a question, and then you can go for a proper research, and you can go for a protocol. And before that, you have to check the feasibility, if the project is feasible or not, right?
Yeah, and in addition, actually, I would like to also highlight the word impactful studies. Every
Yes,
research you do is impactful.
of
So
course.
don't consider any research as a not impactful. Even if you
Correct.
don't find anything significant, like we were thinking that this particular drug will be working in heart failure, and
Correct.
at the end we don't find, then also it is a finding. It is impactful that we found
Yes,
that this drug is not working in heart failure. We got the answer.
we got the
Okay,
answer.
so yeah, so the any question and idea which is not currently answered by current existing research, it is a good research question and
It is a good research
definitely
question.
lead to a
Correct.
significant impactful studies.
True, true, true. And one more thing. So never, regret of your negative results. Never regret, or never think that you got something bad. Negative results are the the origins for some other studies, and for the new ideas. If you fail somewhere, that means you have to get some more ideas, that means you have to go, you have to find some other way to resolve this query. So never afraid of the negative results. You have to, and that is the best part, you can publish the negative results. If you are publishing any negative results, that means you are showing the path to other researchers not to do, or not to repeat that again, not to invest their money, their time, their resources on that. Okay. So if you are getting a negative result, that means that is more impactful than positive. Positive results can get explored much more, right? But negative, if you are getting negative somewhere, so other researchers will go through your protocol, will go through your complete research thoroughly with your methodology and all. If they find, okay, you were failed because of this issue, they will try it. If they find you have done everything in a nice, you have done everything nicely, in a nice way, in a great way, or with the great methodology, they will not even try. They will, why they will waste their money, or their time, or their resources? So better, if you get any negative results, don't try to convert into positive. Because nowadays I've seen many researchers, they do just for the paper purpose, or just like, okay, we will show this is the significant results or something. No, don't, never go to the significant results. If it is not significant, publish it. you know Journals, there is nothing like they accept only positive results, or they accept only correct results, or significant results. Nothing like that. Even after I have few examples with me. After investing $300 billion, Novartis has done research on heart failure, and they did not get the result. They did not get the result about the study. So they just got satisfied with some additional analysis, or internal analysis, but they did not get the final result. They have spent $300 billion, multi-centric, 200, some 126 countries, and they have included some more than 500 sites, great hospitals, great doctors. They spent like money like hell, and later they did not get anything. So it doesn't mean, and they published the result in NEJM. So it does not mean that if you're getting something negative, or if you're not getting the significant results, you should not publish. You should publish, because you have invested your resources, you have invested your money, you have invested your time, the most precious thing. So okay, there is nothing like impactful or non-impactful. I agree with Dr. Chakshu. So next question, the last question right now: is there any way to do research as an independent researcher? Yes, of course you can do. You can do, you can do, but of course, because in India there are some limitations. You have to associate it with any institution, or you have to register yourself as an institution. Then you can, go for any research. But as an independent person, you cannot. Definitely. If
Yeah.
Dr. Jakshu has some other suggestions in that.
That is no, that is what you said is exactly the case here. Actually, independent research for the beginner is actually that not much recommended in India currently. At least
Yeah.
some guide should be there
Yes.
at the college level. If not, then whole institution, or you don't have any other thing. But at least some senior level, associate professor, professor level guide who will guide you actually to
Yeah.
a good research. That
Yeah,
is
of
why
course.
that has been. Yeah.
For students, independent research is not at all recommended. If you are on a level after your PGs, or after your post super specializations and all, after your PhDs, and if you are in any institute, you are working in institute, and if you if you are not even affiliated to any institute, you can open your lab, independent lab. You can open your independent research company. You can open your independent research NGO, or any organization. You can do it independently. It's nobody is there to stop you. And there are there is ICMR, there is DCGRI, there is CTRI, who can give you the approval on the basis of your protocols. If your protocol, your idea is perfect, they will give you even funds. There are many resources. So don't think that you cannot do independent research and all. Okay.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
um yeah, definitely you can put Devers, you can put all the questions, we'll see later, no problem. Okay. So now I will share one article actually. So it will show us about the research, this protocol components. Okay. So is it visible? Yeah. So what should be the main sections or subsections in a complete research protocol? This is an article actually. You can read up in the PMC, how to write a research protocol, tips and tricks. So I found it's very good, and you can search it in a PMC also, PubMed also. How to write a research protocol, tips and tricks. You will get a good idea from this. Okay. So let's go to the main sections and subsections in a complete research protocol. So first of all, what we do, what anyone, any sponsor or any organization, when you're writing a protocol, they ask about the main investigator, the details about the investigator or investigators. Correct. If it is multicentric, or at least they ask about the principal investigator, then co-investigators. So they ask the name, designation, address, phone and fax, and the contact details, email and all. Then if it is multicentric, they ask about the number of involved centers, and you have to refer the centers by there's some reference number. Okay. Then the main important part is title of the study. How does it come? Title of the study, as we were discussing right now, title of the study means your research question. You have to frame your research question into the title, how it should go. If you have more than one research questions, you want to combine that, make the research questions as objectives of your protocol, objectives of your study, or your project, and then frame the title out of these objectives. Correct. So the title of the study should be brief, should be should have the maximum information. It should reflect your complete protocol. It should reflect your complete article. Whatever project you are going to do. Like one research, I'll tell you. If we are doing some prevalence of heart failure, and the prevalence of different types of heart failure in one hospital. Okay. And our population is we are taking only more than 60 years of age population. Correct. And if we are intervening with some drug, any drug, you can take any diuretics, newer diuretics, amiodarone or spironolactone, anything. So your title should be concise. You have many things in your study, how many years you are conducting. So you have to keep even geographical conditions in your like you are doing in South India, you are doing in North India, you are doing in East India, or you are doing in continent, Asian continent, in multicentric type of studies. You have to keep that, you have to keep in the title itself. So as I was suggesting many things in this study, so as per my knowledge, as I think the title of study should be the prevalence of heart failure in South Indian tertiary care center in the elderly patients. So this is a brief. It contains everything: your patient population, your age of the population, your geographical conditions, your exact objective. What you are going to do is like prevalence, and your in which patients you are going to do heart failure patients you are going to do. Your cohort should be heart failure. So everything is there. Everything is fit in this title, right? So such you should frame the title in such way that you can show everything. It reflect your all the protocol menu. Whatever is menu in whatever menu is there in your protocol or in your project, it should reflect in your title. Then protocol ID, it is optional. If it is required, you can keep. So the other important part is keywords. you know Other important part is keywords. So keywords are like, if someone wants to search about your study, about if someone is searching related to as I was discussing, we will discuss this title only. Okay, heart failure wala. So if someone is going to search your study in that, so what should be the title, what should be the keywords? See, first of all, very important thing, keywords should not match your title. Keywords should not match your title. Anything in the keyword should not be in your title, because your title is itself a keyword. When someone types your title in Google or in any search engine, in PMC or anywhere, it will come automatically. So you need not to keep the same keywords out of it. Okay, you should for the more visibility, you should extract some good articles, some good keywords, not articles, keywords, some good keywords out of your project. Like as I told, a prevalence of heart failure in a South Indian tertiary care hospital in elderly patients. So you should not keep heart failure, you should not keep prevalence, you should not keep South India, or you should not keep elderly patients. You should keep something else which is actually included in your study, like what we were discussing in details. You can keep heart failure with reduced ejection fraction. You can keep heart failure with just preserved ejection fraction. You can keep diuretics. We were talking about diuretics. You can keep spironolactone. Whatever is not included in the title but is very important, what you have used maximum in your protocol or maximum in your article, you should keep that in the keywords. You should not keep any word from the title, right? Because title is itself a keyword. Remember that. So keyword should be different from the title. Then rationale of the study. Okay, now this is something interesting. What is the rationale of the study? Rationale of the study is something which describes the current scientific evidence in the support of the research, with a possible subsection for references. Like, it is kind of research. Research means what? Literature. You have to research the literature related to your topic, related to your heart failure, related to your objective, related to your title. You have to give a good extensive search if this topic is done or if this topic is not done. Okay, that will come under the preliminary search. But now here, rationale of the study is something advanced version. In the advanced version, you have to support your article, you have to support your protocol, you have to support your objectives by the literature. There will be something which is not exactly what you are doing, but there will be something called background. you know there will be something called background of your question. From where did you get this question? So you can tell, okay, diuretics are useful in the heart failure. Diuretics can reduce the symptoms of heart failure. But spironolactone, like, I'm just suppose, like, spironolactone is very new drug. So we can write spironolactone could be can be a promising drug, another promising drug for the heart failure, improved outcomes. Correct. So you can write that. You can give an evidence in such ways, like diuretics are good for heart failure, but spironolactone is again as a diuretic. It could be good for the heart failure. It could improve the heart failure symptoms. So you have to support your title, you have to support your objectives through the rationale of the study. Then after rationale of the study, it comes to the study design. In the study design, yes, there are many things what you have to describe in the protocol. Like what? If it is a monocentric or multicentric, if you are doing only in your hospital, or you are including some other hospitals or some other centers, some other universities, some other phcs, or some other research centers, if you're collaborating with any private company, or if you're collaborating with some other organizations like who or icmr or something, so you have to mention everything, whether your study is monocentric or multicentric, whether your study is prospective or retrospective. So prospective means what? Prospective means ongoing. Ongoing. If you are taking ongoing patients, like if you have start today and it will go for a month or for a year, it will be prospective. But retrospective is something what you are taking from the past, what you are taking from the records, which is not going on right now. Retrospective means it is something, the data is already collected in some other forms. You have to extract the data from that form. Like patient was admitted 3 years back, and you are taking all the patients of gastritis for last 3 years. So that means you are collecting the data from records. You are not including your patients. Exactly, you are not including your ongoing patients in that study. So that means the study will be retrospective. If you are collecting the data from ongoing patients records, anything, that will be prospective. Then controlled or uncontrolled. What is controlled or uncontrolled? If you have some control, or some test parameters with the we can say one is test parameter, one is placebo, or patients and healthy volunteers. So there should be control, there should be some comparison. If you have some comparator, that will come under the control. Okay, if you are just doing in one cohort or one type of patients, or one type of population, so that will come under uncontrolled studies, right? So controlled study means when you have something to compare. Okay, so the next thing what you have to include in your study design, whether your study is open label, single blinded, or double blinded. It is actually something which use in the clinical trials, some randomized clinical trials, or big clinical trials. So when you are giving some intervention to the patient, when you are using some intervention or some drug or some injections or some placebo, in that time we use open label or single blinded, double blinded, triple blinded. So open label means everyone knows about the intervention what we are going to use. Everyone means the sponsor, investigator, patient, or coordinator. Everyone knows about the intervention, whatever drug is there, whatever procedure is there, everyone knows that what we are going to do. Correct. But single blinded will be, it will be hidden from the patient. Patient will not know about the drug what he is taking, about the procedure what is going to happen with him. Okay, so in that case single blinded means the patient will be everything will be hidden to the patient will not know anything about the intervention, about the drug. In the double blinded case, sponsor will know everything, but as a researcher or principal investigator or as an investigator, nobody will know. No, even the investigator will not know what drug is he is giving or prescribing to the patient, what drug he is using, or what intervention he is using to the patient under this clinical trial. Even patients will not know. So that is called double blinding. Okay, after that there is something triple blinding. We call it triple blinding when accept sponsor or accept the contemporary part of all that, that will be something monitoring part means the DCGRI or ICMR, or clinical trials gov, or some WH or some monitoring team. Except monitoring team, nobody will know about the intervention, neither the sponsor, neither or this investigator, nor the patient. Okay, nobody will know about the fact, will know about the drugs, about the intervention, nobody will know. So now it is non-randomized or randomized. So non-randomized means you are very specific about the patients, that you have to select some specific or vulnerable population like adults or like elderlies, or like in the gender female or male, or specific worker, or some other students. So the population will be vulnerable, it will be specific, it will be selective, you know it will be selective population. But in randomized, what's there, randomized means you can take any patient. It may be the manual randomization, it may be the computer based randomization, it may be the some other systems of randomization, but the patients will be taken, or the participants will be taken randomly. There will be no specific, or no, there will be no specific trick behind that. Got it? Then parallel branches and overlap branches. Yes, this is something what is used in clinical trials and very specific clinical trials, not everywhere. Okay, very specific means I think at the UG level it is not appreciated to tell, but still I'll tell. Parallel branches means when there are two comparators, when there are two drugs, okay, and there are two groups in the study. In your study there are two groups, one is like control, and one is the patients, correct? Patients and control. So in the parallel groups both will take uh, two drugs. One will be taking placebo, one will be taking suppose some any drug, suppose any drug which is giving to the patients, and control group is taking placebo. So this will come in the parallel branch. Both the groups are taking separate interventions. Both groups are taking separate interventions. But in overlap branches, what happens? Overlap branches, some of the patients will take placebo, and some of the healthy volunteers or the control will take the drug. Okay. So this is called overlapping. Both the groups will take both the drugs. Got it? So this will call overlap branches. Okay. So this is exactly not recommended right now, or only few researchers can handle that kind of studies. Only few researchers, because this is dangerous. Because consequences of the drug in healthy volunteers could be very dangerous. Okay. Then experimental or observational. Experimental means when you are going to do something, when you are going to give some intervention, when you are going to give some drugs to the patient, when you're going to test something from the patient, like some laboratory testing or some biomarker testing or some like fat testing, or anything, any intervention, any experimental thing, any experimental things. So that means you are including something from your side to the patient. You are giving something, or you are taking blood to test something. So that all experimental part will come under the experimental kind of studies. But the observational study means you are just collecting the data, whatever is present, whatever is present. Okay, from the files or from the patient, you are asking the patients, you are asking the caregivers, you are asking the physicians, or a physician is just collecting the data and analyzing the data and presenting. He's not asking the patients to give some, to take some special drug, or to do some special blood test, or to do some special procedure. There is nothing kind of experiment. We are just observing whatever is going through the protocol. Protocol means, like if you are doing an observational study in a hospital, that means in a ward you are just going daily, you are collecting the patients of gastritis, or you are just collecting the specific patients whatever you have fixed according to your protocol or according to your study. You are just collecting the patients and data, correct? You are just going collecting the patients and data from the ward, and you are analyzing, coming home analyzing. That means the observational studies. In that you can collect the patient demographics, you can collect the blood reports, whatever is done, and you can collect the primary diagnosis, you can collect the other drug pattern, drug chart, and then you can associate everything to each other by the statistical analysis. So that all comes under the observational studies. Okay. And then others study design means whatever eligibility criteria and all will be there, that will come on, I think, later. Okay, next, primary objective. Primary objective means, yes, what you are going to do, what you are going to ask. So as we have decided, when we were talking about the heart failure study, in that we are just going to know, we are just going to detect the prevalence of the heart failure in a tertiary care center. So that is our main objective. Endpoints means, endpoints maybe the main, primary, or secondary endpoints can be listed. Like in that, if we want to give the primary endpoint, it will be like, okay, at the end of the study, we will come to know there are some prevalence of heart failures, like 8 out of 1,000, or 50 out of 1,000 will be heart failure. In males it will be 30 out of 1,000, in female it will be 25 out of 1,000. So we will come to know the prevalence. In the secondary endpoints, we can tell about, okay, primary endpoint was to find out the prevalence of heart failure in the population. The secondary outcomes will be to find out the prevalence of heart failure in specific conditions. Like if you have recruited 1 lakh population to check the prevalence of heart failure, in that what you will do, you will some patients will be hypertensive, some patients will be anemic, some patients will be diabetic. So at the secondary endpoint or the secondary objective, you can find out the prevalence of heart failure even in the in the diabetes, even in the hypertension, or in the anemia. So that will be your secondary objectives. You can check out the symptoms. If the general population has presented with some symptoms to you, or you can check out their biomarker levels, if they have some additional biomarkers done, or if they're taking some medical, if they have some medical conditions, they are taking some drugs, whether it is affecting the prevalence or not. So that should be in the additional endpoints, that should be in the additional objectives. And expected results means whatever we are discussing in that. Then analyzing criteria. Analyzing criteria means analyzing criteria, it could be statistical, where we can get the frequencies, where we can get the mean, mode, median, age, or anything. And after that, specific requirements are there in the statistical findings. Like you can correlate, you can do the mean comparison, you can do the ANOVA test, based on your variable types. So that all comes under the statistical part. We are talking about the protocol, so we have to write this part. We have to write one statistical analysis, what should be there in the statistical analysis, what we are going to do. So basically we do frequencies, we do the basic what we say, comprehensive statistics for everyone. So we can mention that. And if we are going for the mean comparison, if there are two groups, we can go for mean comparison, we can go for independent t-test, we can go for chi-square test. Or if we are going to correlate, we can go for the regression analysis, correlation. And if we are looking for the outcomes, we can go for survival analysis, right? So these kind of things, Kaplan-Meier plots and all. So these are advanced things. So whatever you are based on your objective, based on your title, you can fix your statistical analysis, expected statistical analysis, what you are going to do in your study. Okay. And in that, this is about statistical. Then you can even talk about the safety measures. If you're talking about a big or randomized clinical trial on the drugs, they ask about the safety variables. What are the safety variables you used? Outcomes, morbidity, mortality, health related quality of life, so, and the economical conditions, health economy, how much patient has to spend and all, or how much we are spending on the resources in the hospital. So hospital related resources, or disease related resources, we can analyze in the analysis part. That also we have to state in our protocol very precisely, like what we are going to do. Correct. And then let's come to the visits and examination. If you are following up the patients, you have to mention about the visits. What kind of how many visits will be there at 1 month, at 6 months, or 1 year, or there'll be many things what you can write in your protocol. Okay. And then about the therapeutic plans and goals, like if you are giving about the drug, you have to you have to write in manuscript about, in sorry, in protocol, about the drugs. What drugs patient is going to take, at what frequency he is going to take, and what dose he is going to take, at what period he is going to take, when we are tapering the dose, when we are reducing the dose, when we are increasing the dose. Okay. And how many what would be the mode of administration. Correct. Who will prescribe the drug, where the drug will be stored, everything will come under that part. Okay. Then the study population, as I told you, inclusion and exclusion criteria, you have to make very specific inclusion and exclusion criteria. Otherwise your study will divert from the point. Your study will be very vast, you cannot handle that sometimes. So you have to make the very specific inclusion criteria. Like if you are doing heart failure, then you have to include only heart failure patients based on their sign and symptoms based on the NT-proBNP. Sometimes, COPD, if you are just talking about the sign and symptoms of heart failure, okay, you are writing in your protocol that you are going to take the heart failure patients based on symptoms, but you are not doing biomarker test, you are not going for NT-proBNP. So how you will do that? Because in that, COPD patients or asthma patients may have the same similar symptoms. Some mitral regurgitation patients or atrial regurgitation patients may have some similar symptoms, but they are not heart failure, right? So for that, you should go with the NT-proBNP, you should go with the echocardiogram. So you should have the exact inclusion criteria. You should mention everything, like, okay, first we will assess the patients based on sign and symptoms, based on the physical appearance, based on the physical examinations. Then we will go for echo, then we will go for NT-proBNP. Then we will, if it justifies everything, then we will include the patients as heart failure in our study. Correct? Exclusion criteria: you are not going to take COPD, you are not going to take MR, you are not going to take AR, you are not going to take any other problems which actually can influence your outcomes. Got it? So study population should be very much very well defined. And then something sample size. Here you need the statistics, based on the power of the study which are published in the literature, based on the dropout rate, based on your JAD D and all. So these are the something which comes from the statistics, based on the power of the study or the dropouts of the dropout rate and all. Correct? So you have to mention about the sample size in protocol. Then estimate of duration of the study, how many years you are going to conduct, how many months it will go. In the protocol you have to mention about the study duration. It is very much necessary, otherwise it will be baseless if you're not mentioning the time. You have to mention the time, like you are conducting this study for 3 years. Within 3 years your data collection will complete, your patients recruitment will complete, your if you are doing any animal study, your practicals will be done, your examinations will be done within this year, within this period of time. And you would be able to do the analysis, and you will come up with the final results. So time estimations, and in the duration also you can mention about the visits, how many visits you are going to call the patients, and how many times you are going to prescribe the interventional drug, or how many times you are going to follow the patient. Then, as we have discussed before, safety advisories, what should be the safeties, and what kind of side effects could be there, what kind of problems could appear to the patients, so everything you can keep in the protocol. So these are the components of the protocol. So I'll just take you through the WHO protocol once. Okay, this is the recommended format from protocol. Okay, is it visible, the WHO format?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Okay, fine. So recommended format for a research protocol from the WHO. Okay, so they ask, first of all, they ask about the project summary in 300 words, or 400 words, whatever. It could be specific from the specific organizations. Then the journal information about the protocol, like protocol title, protocol identification number, and name and address of the sponsor or funder, name and the title of the investigators, as we were discussing in previous article. Then again, the rationale and background information. So as I was telling, rationale is something background which you use to support your research question. And then the references, and then your study goals and objectives, and then the study designs. Study designs means everything what you are like, it should be randomized, non-randomized, controlled, non-controlled, prospective, retrospective. I mean, it study designs means whatever duration, or parallel or overlap, anything, whatever, if it is the epidemiological, if it is observational or interventional, all, or like prospective or retrospective, everything will come under the study design. Correct? Then the methodology part. So methodology part is what? The methodology section is the important part of the protocol. It should include detailed information of the intervention or the procedures what you are going to do, or what are the observations you are going to make, or what are the laboratory investigations, or we were discussing about the procedures, about the interventions, about the drugs, whatever you are going to use in your protocol or in your project, you have to write in the methodology, sites, site of the project, where you're going to conduct the study, site of the study, and duration of the study, and what are the resources you are going to use, what are the interventions you are going to use. Everything should come under the methodology, right? And procedures, if you are using any biomedicals, like how you are collecting the blood, how you are collecting the sputum sample, everything, procedures, SOPs, it should come under the protocol, like collection of the blood or sputum sample to develop a diagnostic test, or realm of social sciences, like doing a questionnaire, what kind of questionnaire you are using to check the um, quality, lifestyle, or health related quality of life. If you are doing any research, any questionnaire, if you are using, like in heart failure we use SF36, or a consensus cardiac failure questionnaire. So we have anything, MARS we have, and if we are doing anything regarding our patients medication adherence, there are few tools for medical adherence. So you have to mention, you have to describe all the questionnaires in the protocol, how you are going to do that. Okay. And you have to talk about the standardized or documented procedures, technique. Okay, everything, it should be there. And how you're going to randomize the patients if it is randomized control trial, and the process of randomization, blinding process of rules, and entire study you can keep in that, correct, in the protocol. Then the safety considerations, as we were talking about the patients, and the follow up, when you are going to follow, and how many follow ups you are going to do with the patients. And yeah, the most important part now, it comes about the data management and statistical analysis. It actually, statistical analysis can everyone ask, as I was talking that there in the previous slides and all. But data management, nowadays in the clinical research, they ask about the data management, how you're managing the data, how you are managing the bias, how you're managing the confounding factors and all. So your data management should be specific, your data management should be something mm, what we say, very much precised, and how many years you are going to keep the records, how many years you are going to handle the data, and how you're going to handle the data online, offline forms, and how you're going to analyze the data online. This comes under the data management, like monitoring, computer analysis, verifications, statistical methods. So everything will come under the data management. Then quality assurance, the protocol should describe the quality control and quality assurance system according to the GCP guidelines, or the data safety board, or data management systems. Expected outcomes, what we have discussed already. And duration of the project, problems anticipated, project management, ethical approvals. Ethics, your protocol should go through the ethical approval or institutional review board. And then, yeah, most important part is informed consent forms. If you are taking any participant into your study, human participant, I'm talking about human participant, you have to take the informed consent form. Consent form is very important part, and how it should be, I'll tell you. So the informed consent part should be very much descriptive. It should start with your protocol title, objective of your protocol, and what are the short brief of the protocol, brief of your project. It should be there in the in the informed consent form. Exact consent form should be 5 to 6 pages or 10 pages. It include everything. What are the benefits of the patients, or what are the interventions patient is going to take, what are the blood procedures patient is going to undergo, what are the blood collections, or what are the procedures, or any other interventions, who will be the investigator, and what are the patient's benefit, what is the compensation, and how much the patients will get, and if what is the risk factors for the patients. Everything, it should be detailed about everything, and it should be given to the patients for to read and to get signature by the patient. So patients should get ample time to read the informed consent form. The participants should get in ample time, sufficient time to go through the informed consent forms. Then only they can read and they can sign. If they feel feasible, like, okay, I can undergo this procedure, it's fine for me. I can take this drug for some time, it's fine for me. If they feel like, okay, I can do that, then only they will sign the informed consent form. It should not be forceful. The informed consent should not be forceful to any participant, right? So the approved version of protocol must have copies of informed consent forms, both in English and the local language. Why English? Because if you are going to submit to ICMR or WHO or CTRI or NIH, they accept only in English, but you can use in your local languages as well, right? And they will accept that also, but there should be one translation form. It should be there in the English. Okay. So informed consent form is very important. Then what's there in the next part? Let's check. Yeah. So after that, the your protocol should talk about budget. Budget should contain the detailed item-wise breakdown of funds. Item-wise breakdown, I'll tell how. Like it should be, it should have all the information about about the investigational part you are going to use, or anything, any new drug you are going to use, or anything like laboratory test or kits you are going to use. So budget should have the expenditure of that. It should include the expenditure of the manpower. If you are including any coordinator, if you are including any overhead charges like institutional charges or taxes, or like your computer, you are using any computer, you are buying any tool like computer or paper or printer. So it should have everything. It should include every expense related to the study. You can keep in the budget, and then you have to justify that why you are going to propose this much money. uh, it should have the proper justification. You can, so for justifications, what we usually do is we write the expenses in a descriptive way, like how first years how much expense will be there, second year how much expense will be there, third year how much expense will be there, how much resources we are going to use in first year, because it will be the recruitment year. Second year will be the follow-up year, so there will be less use of the resources. Only in the first year we are going to use the kits. Like, okay, in first year we may need 5 research associates, and second year we may need only 2. So you can describe in detailed version, you can describe the budget in detail. So that will be feasible, that will be good for the sponsor will understand the what they're going to do, what they are going to actually give to the investigator, give to the any researcher. So the budget in explanatory way is very much important. That it makes it makes the chances high to get the funds from any sponsor. Then if you have any collaborations, you can put up, and you have to attest the curriculum vitae of investigators, and the financing or insurances, if you are doing, if you are compensations also you have to include in your protocol. If you are conducting the controlled randomized controlled trial or something, then only you can keep about the finances and about the compensation. See, if the patient is getting any drug, and if he is died because, or if he lose his body part, or if he lose his mental stability due to your drug because of side effect, you have to compensate for that. So in the clinical trials there is nothing other than money to compensate the uh, patient or the participant. So you have to compensate them with the money. So you have to explain these things, right? Okay, right now, so I'll invite Dr. Chakshus to give his views till now, and then I'll go through the CTRI, and then we will end. And we have some
Yeah,
tasks for you guys, and we will answer the questions right now even. And yeah, Dr. Chakshu, your inputs,
yeah.
please.
Thank you for this wonderful summary about wonderful detailed about protocol writing in both the sides.
Thank
Uh,
you.
I was just reading through few of the questions. What are some important fields of research in present day? Well, this question has been coming for ages. When I was in my undergrad, one of my friend was also like, uh, "What new way can we invent? Whatever there is to invent has already been invented. What more we can research? But there is always something to research. You can see COVID-19,
Yeah.
anything and everything we can." research in every field. Also there is new drug is coming, new intervention is coming. Like if we say from cardiology point of view, cardiology, we can just start from the beginning, like what are the risk factors in
Correct.
the early age. Some of them are already studied at prenatal or infancy. Some of them have linked that obesity in toddlers is associated with NCD in later age group. So there are
Right.
many fields, many research ideas, all are important.
Correct.
uh, unless and until there is no any malafide intention behind that, we do it ethically, we do it correctly after thorough search of literature. All the ideas that we implement in the research study will be important. Any recommended site to get proper literature? Well, one or two already mentioned: PubMed,
PubMed,
Google Scholar,
PubMed, Google Scholar.
Cochrane, Cochrane Review,
Yeah, up
and
to
any
date.
other
Yeah,
journal site you can visit. In fact, that will help in getting more ideas about ideas of research.
I'll get you briefly through the literature search. Don't worry.
Yeah. So that way we can get more idea about literature also. And how do we get to know that this topic I picked is accurate to be researched? Well, we already discussed that. We
Yeah,
extensively review research that. We extensively review the literature available for that. Okay, we consult the expert in the relevant field. Like if we are in undergraduate, we are thinking about some topic on say orthopedic, consult orthopedic doctor over there, ask his opinion. He will be knowing all the literature in that field. He will be knowing all the journals which are there, prevalent prominent journals which we can answer our questions. That way
yeah.
we can know if the question in mind is actually accurate or not yet explored or not yet that much explored, so that we can go ahead with our research question. And definitely any research we have already mentioned, it is impactful, it is important. Okay.
Yeah, so
Now,
I'll add on to Dr. Chakshu. Now, I'll tell you few tips about knowing the best and trending topic. First of all, I'll suggest you go through the literature. Whatever comes in the mind, you go through the literature. If you do not get anything, that means you are in the your topic is best. Okay. If you do not get and if you want to do a research, I will suggest discuss with your peers, discuss with your colleagues. Still, if you're not getting any good topic, ask your you can ask your colleagues, you can ask your peers like what should be done there and what I'm not getting. And I want to do research in this field but I'm not getting the appropriate topic. You can ask your friends, they may have the idea. If you explore with your friends, with your peers, they may have the idea. If you're not getting, go to your guide, go to your mentor, go to your teachers. They are the they have the vast knowledge, they are experienced in the field, they are experiencing the subject for many years. You can ask them, sir, what should I do now? I want to do the research in this topic. Please suggest me some topic feasible to me what I can conduct as a research or as a short paper or something. So you can ask your mentors, your teachers, your faculties about this. Okay, that will be great, that will be more helpful. Okay, so I think that is the best part where you can ask. mm,
uh, there is one more question: can we also use the already done research data with our data to compare the difference and give a combined conclusion?
yes,
um,
Dr.
yeah.
Jakshu, yes, you should answer this question.
Yeah, actually, conclusion, we should not conclude, but yes, we can compare and discuss. This is actually later part. This is not part of proposal writing. This is after
Yeah.
a completion of study. We also compare our results with existing other study and see that it is in line with that, it is not in line with that. What are the some similarities? What are some other methods that we approach? And we give further discussion to pave way for new research
Yeah,
generally.
see,
So it
though.
is not a direct data, but
Yeah,
a published paper.
yeah, though it will not come in the proposal writing, but still we are happy to answer, because see, what you are talking is exactly the discussion of your paper, what you are going to write at the end of your analysis and results, you are going to publish. So you have to discuss, In your paper, in your original paper, after your results, you will write a part which is called discussion. In the discussion, you will justify your results with the old literature, with the published data. So that is called discussion. The same thing you have to write, you have to do, it is mandatory to do in your discussion part. You will do that. Okay. Yeah, so I'll just briefly go through the CTRI. Okay, and then we can move to something else. Okay, so let me go to the CTRI site. Yeah, so this is the CTRI site. I have logged in already. You need a login to go inside. So my paper is already registered here one. So I'll just go through briefly. You all can see that. So this is CTRI ICMR funded or ICMR operated site. Okay, National Institute of Medical Science and ICMR operated site, where you all have to register. If you are conducting any study, you have to register into the CTRI. So here my study is already registered in 2000, from 2017. It is still going on, not it is approved already. So let's go through the details. Okay, is it visible, the full screen now?
Yes, visible.
The new screen.
The CTRR website, or
No,
have you
some.
opened something else?
Yeah, I have
Uh,
opened some. I wait. I'll.
no, that's not visible.
I think I have to stop sharing and I have
Yeah,
to. Yeah.
restart.
Yeah, I have to restart with some. Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah, this one. I was talking about this one. Is it visible now? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So here you can see this CTRI number. They will produce themselves later. Okay. Yeah. So first of all, they will ask about the study design, title of the study, type of the study, type of the trial, whether it is observational. See here, you can see, you can follow my cursor. Type of the trial, observational or interventional. Type of the study, was it a cohort, case control, or any other type, which is randomized clinical trial or something. Public title of the study, specific title of the study. Okay, then they will ask about the details of the principal investigator, as we were discussing in the previous protocol writing details. They will ask about the complete thing about the principal investigators, and they will ask about the contact persons. They will ask about the primary sponsor. They will ask about the details of ethics committee when you got that. They will ask about the site of study. Okay, here site of the study, regulatory clearance, if it is applicable, you need to go through the DCGRI clearance or something. Okay, and then they will ask about the inclusion criteria. In the inclusion criteria, they will ask about the age, gender, and the details, and the exclusion criteria details. As I have written, patients who are participating in other clinical trials are not eligible. Okay, they will ask about the method of generating random sequence, but it is not applicable in my study. Method of concealment not applicable, blinding not applicable here, but they will ask in their protocol. They have that protocol, you have to mention everything in that. Okay, in CTRI, primary outcomes, what is the time points, like I have mentioned here, 6 months, we are following the patients at 6 months, 12 months, 24 and 36 months. Okay, and the secondary outcomes they're asking here, characterization of heart failure, and the first primary outcomes, prognosis of heart failure. So they will ask everything, right? What is the target sample size, what is the phase of sample size, when the first enrollment was done, and date of the study completion, and then they will ask about the duration of the study, and then brief summary of the study. If you have done any publications or anything, they will ask everything. So this is the brief outline of the CTRI protocol. When you are going to submit your data, you should have this complete data with you, then only you can submit to the CTRI. Okay. Okay, so this is also done now. Actually, I have prepared these slides for someone else, some other purpose, but I'll happy to share with you. But there are some, it should not be a conflict of interest, I feel. Okay, I'll just go through it briefly. Mm, okay, I'll show you one study protocol what we have written in written recently for the WIHF one study for the Baroda Medical College there. Okay, so this is the protocol we have recently, written for our our study. So see the title of the study: introduction, purpose of the study, aim, objectives, review of the literature, material and methods. In material and methods, see study site, study population, study design, sample size, inclusion criteria, exclusion criteria, data analysis, and proposed advantage of this study. See references and any questionnaire if you are using, and ethical considerations if anything. So these are the basics protocol what you are going to write on the institutional basis. But if you are going to conduct a big study, right, like randomized clinical trial or something, you have to go for the big organizations. But CTRI is mandatory for all right now. Okay, how much time we have, Sweta, right now?
So we have around half an hour. So how much of a time we should
We
take?
have half an hour. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Great,
Yeah,
cool.
in Dr. Ajit, we were discussing about that patient informed consent. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes,
So
yes, Dr.
in
Chakshu.
that also there is some other component like at some of the organization at local level, not this large scale institute like ICMR or WHO, but some of the organization may also prefer to have patient information sheet. So informed consent can be one or two pages, but patient information sheet should be the detailed one. That what all protocols will be following, who are we enrolling, why are we enrolling, why are we doing this study, what will be the benefit to that patient, to the community, and the detailed the contact detail of the primary or principal investigator usually, so that in case of any adverse effect or in case of any other doubt or anything, it the participant can contact the investigator. So some of the institutes also practice this. This is more like what we see is as a FAQs, frequently asked questions. That type of sheet also is sometimes prepared to be given to the participants so that they can review at their own time. uh, they can contact at any time, and that is also somewhere demanded in some of the institutes for ethical committees.
Yes, 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 yes. So now I will show them one checklist. So while protocol writing, you can make a checklist, guys. It's very important if you have a checklist. If you can do it and go according to the checklist, I'll show you the checklist. So this is one checklist. Okay, if you can see here, general protocol checklist. So in that you should have the sections about project overview, where you will include the title, done. Protocol summary, done. About the investigators, collaborators, funding resources, done. Then introduction, literature review, justification for the study, intended or potential use of the study findings, study design, locations, objectives, hypothesis, general approach, whatever you are going to keep in introduction, you have to check mark. Okay. So if you have the checklist, it will be great while writing the protocol. And then the procedures or methods of design, like how study design or surveillance system address your hypothesis, what are the audiences, participants, cost benefit, study time, or the review request if you have anything, or inclusion and exclusion criteria in procedural methods, number of participants, sampling, inclusion, sample size, enrollment. So everything will be in the procedural methods. Then the variables, what are the FDA investigator, something is there. If it is not there, then like these use in randomized clinical trials. Then what are the trainings they have done? If you are doing a clinical trial or clinical study, then you should have the GCP certificates with you, IIC certificates and all the ethical the certificates you should have. ICH, now ICH is even amendments are there, so amendment 2 should be there. You should have the certificates of good clinical practices, right? And then what are the procedures, like data collection, what is the analyzing plan, quality control, handling results, bias rejection, bias in the data collection, what are the limitations of the study. So these all should come under your checklist. You should have a checklist and you should prepare it very well. Then only, if you keep that checklist, your protocol will be wonderful, your protocol will be appropriate in format. like what should be in the appendix, like data collection forms, proposed table and figures, and everything. It should come under the appendix. So I feel you should make one checklist while writing your protocol, so it will be good and better. Great. As we have discussed earlier, everything should be in the checklist. And after that, yeah, I will share these slides for just for 5 minutes. Literature search. Yeah, can you see that? This is for some other purpose, but I'll share here. No problem. Uh, so literature search, I will just go through in brief. So scientific literature is the principal medium of communicating the results of scientific research. You know, it is like collective achievements of the scientific community over time. Literature. This is about the literature, right? It is the collective achievements, whatever we have done, whatever our researchers have achieved, right? So that is called scientific literature. Scientific literature comprises of scholarly publications that report original empirical and theoretical work in natural and social sciences within an academic field. Okay. Then there are the types of literature, scientific literature. One is primary literature, one is secondary literature. So primary literature is which is directly coming from the research, which is directly coming from the practical, which is directly coming from the experiments, like results of the original scientific papers or journal papers, conference papers, monographics, technical reports, thesis, or dissertations. These all are the primary literature coming directly from the site, coming directly from the patients, coming directly from the participants. Secondary literature is like which is something synthesized from the primary literature. Secondary literature is something synthesized from the secondary literature. It should be like review papers, monographs, or textbooks. Textbooks are not at all the primary resources. Textbooks are even old, outdated always, because it takes time to get published. If you are writing a textbook, it will take 1 year or 6 months, then you publish the textbook and it will come into the market. That means it is old. This is 1 year old. In that 1 year, whatever developments are done in the field of research, it will not be in the book, right? So that's why it is the secondary literature, and it is the outdated literature, sometimes we say it. Okay. And there are something called peer reviewed and gray literature. Peer reviewed literature means you have the valid literature, which is gone through the expert screening before the publication. But gray literature, which is not yet published, or which is not have the peer reviewed methods, which did not undergo the peer reviews, or the scientific experts views. Okay, it could be reports or fact sheets or the white papers or conference proceedings and all. So what are the importance of literature research? Reliable archive of scientific research. It should be authentic data from it could be authentic data from the reliable sources. It will get all the evidences of research from the past. It will get all the evidences which can support your logics. It will help you in framing the question or the research topic. It will help you writing your manuscript or thesis. Okay. So the literature research, yeah, if I'll tell you, hierarchy of the evidence will be, it will start from the meta-analysis and systematic review. These are the, uh, you know, uh, the high impact evidence. The most impact evidence is meta-analysis and systematic reviews, then randomized control trials, then cohort studies, case control, and case reports. Okay. So it come with this hierarchy from meta-analysis to case report. So meta-analysis are the best evidence to go for the evidence-based medicine practice, or to go for the any study. If you are getting the literature from meta-analysis and systematic review, that means it is validated. It is very well and well validated. Okay. Where
So
to
here
yes.
we also mean that if there is a meta-analysis or systemic review available for some research topic we are thinking, and we are planning to say conduct case control or cohort study, so we should stop, right?
Yeah,
If already there is a meta-analysis or systemic review on that topic is available. That is how the literature search helps us.
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were discussing that in about how do we go. That is why I thought we will just
Yeah, we are just talking about the literature search part of the proposal. We are talking about the
yes,
proposal writing or protocol writing. So that comes under the literature search of the protocol writing.
yes,
Okay, so where to search? I'll just tell them. Yes, online databases. First is Google or Wikipedia. First, basic. But there are the disadvantages, because Google or Wikipedia is not at all a reliable source. Citations are not allowed, or if you are citing the Google or Wikipedia, it is having least importance. You cannot cite Google or Wikipedia. But advantages are there from this. You will have a preliminary idea of what exactly you are looking for. Okay, it will help you in the redirection to the primary resources. If you search something in the Google, you click on the valid resources. If it is coming from the Elsevier, if it is coming from the Science Directive, if it is coming from the PubMed, NCBI, you can just click on that. You will go to the primary source. It will redirect you to the primary source. But if you are directly citing from the Google, it is waste. It is having least importance, or citations are not allowed. The citing from the Google directly is not at all reliable. Okay. There are other databases: PubMed, Embase, Medline, Scopus, Web of Science, Science Direct, Cochrane Library, or Directory of Open Access Journals, or JSTOR. So these are the validated, we can say, literature search things, literature search databases or online search engines for the literature search, for the scientific literature. So the top three, if you ask me, there are PubMed, Medline, Scopus, and Web of Science. Top three, four. These are the top three for research. And if you are going for the, if you are specifically going for the systematic review or meta-analysis, the Cochrane Library will be, preferred database for search, because Cochrane Library is specifically for the systematic reviews and meta-analysis. Okay, so I think that's done from this side. I'll stop sharing. Now we are open to the questions. Dr. Chakshu, if you want to add on something. So I think we are done with the protocol writing. So now, guys, only 42 are present now. I thought we will have all 276 and we will divide them into the groups, and we will, give them some assignments.
So we could still do that. Maybe people can watch the webinar later on if
That we will do in the groups. That we will
okay.
do in the
Yeah.
protocol group. Okay, we
Okay.
will post in the group that questions and
Yeah.
all we will post in the group.
Yeah, sir.
So right now
So
we will go to the questions.
yeah, there was one more I think which came up. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, there is. Is there any difference in the protocol writing for non-patient studies, like PK model for drugs, or in lab projects like that of pharmacology or chemistry?
Protocol.
There, yeah. Would you like to answer that?
Dr. Chakshu, you want to answer? You please answer. No problem.
I'll just start to answer. You please add on. So there is not much difference. All the components which we discuss currently in both the website of WHO or PubMed Central, and what Dr. Ajit also showed, not necessarily all the components will be applicable for you in all the studies. Sometimes it happens that based on your study, not all components are included. Like you are doing observational study, so there may not be any safety concern of the participant. There may not be any financial aspect of that, or so many other aspects. So not necessarily these are the in detail components of protocol. If it is not part of or anywhere related to the study, in mind, we can remove that one, and the rest of the components will remain. Yes, Dr. Ajit.
Yes, so I'll add
Ajit?
on to Dr. Chakshu. Yes, he's right. See, if you are doing any, see, protocol is must for every study, every study and project. Protocol is must, because protocol is the master sheet or the guideline for your project. How you are going to do, what are the resources and all, as we have discussed. Protocol must be there for every study, right? But as your question is specifically for the pharmacokinetics studies and all, or the animal models of the drug, without patient, right? So yes, Dr. Chakshu is right. We can remove the components which are related to the human subjects, like safety parts or the risk parts, or the intervention parts also will be there. Of course, in the PK studies also intervention part will be there. If you are using animals or if you are using non patients also, if you are giving intervention, it will be there. But you can just remove the safety and precautions part, or you can remove out the risk parts, which Dr. Chakshu was discussing. So that we can do, and we can remove all the parts which is actually related to the human studies. But protocol must be there, and in the same format it should be there. We keep in the same format. It should be in the format like first introduction or the background, then aim of the study or literature search, and then objectives, then methodology. Complete methodology should be there, whatever you're using, animals or any PVPK studies, anything, whatever is related, you can keep in that. You just have to remove the human part, that's all, like safety concern. And of course there will be some safety also, some animal ethical considerations and all are there. Of course it will be there, but the safety part and compensation parts and all you can remove from the protocol, and it will work for your any proposal of from pharmacology or chemistry or from any other part. Yes, any other questions, Veta?
So, Dr. Ajit, I was thinking we can discuss more about this ongoing COVID-19 vaccine trial. What kind of protocol or what kind of study is it? Can you
See,
describe it?
one more thing I want to tell to our students who are listening now. Now government of India has waived off the ethical approval for all the survey kind of studies. So if they are thinking of they can confirm the news. But I heard like that, if they want to do some survey kind of studies related to COVID or COVID patients or related to COVID complications, they can go ahead without any ethical approval. It's not needed. Survey kind of studies, not any interventional
Yeah,
or not any hospital based or patient based studies. Right. Yes, Dr. Chakshu, what you were asking? I just
yeah. I was thinking that if we can discuss something about this, what kind of study is this COVID vaccine trial which is ongoing? We were saying there are many types in that study, different type of studies. So if we can just describe as an example to our participants,
see in the
like
COVID vaccines. In the COVID vaccines, only one type of trial are going on. That is randomized control trial.
exactly randomized control trial, it is
Yes.
a multicentric,
Multicentric
multicentric.
randomized control trials, because they cannot get the sufficient number of the patients from one center, and they have to include all type of sign and symptoms, because in the different regions and different areas, I heard there are the different strains of COVID. So they have to check the vaccines on all kind of patients, the different patients. So they are doing the randomized control trials in different sites. They are including some patients, like thousands of the patients or 1200 of the patients. If I talk about the Bharat Biotech, which is going on in India right now in the phase 2 or phase 3, some phase 2 is going on right now from
Mm,
Bharat Biotech.
yeah,
So
and this will be an experimental study. I'm just
exper-
trying to understand the type of study, not the in depth of the how
yeah.
it is
See,
done. So
that
this
is
is
actually,
experimental
that
study.
is kind of experimental study. Yes, experimental study, randomized control trial, where they are just randomizing the COVID patients from different severities, and with different complications. They did not have any great inclusion criteria or great exclusion criteria. They are just having like any COVID patients with any complications. They are trying their medicine. They are trying their
Yeah.
vaccines. So it
So
is
just
we can say simply it is a prospective experimental
yeah,
control trial, randomized control trial. That's how.
that is what I was trying to say. That for any kind of study, we can have this, that it is prospective. Definitely, it is longitudinal. We are following up. It
Longitudinal,
is
yes.
multicentric. Definitely
Yeah.
multicentric, not at one center. It is controlled. We have patients and healthy volunteers also.
Healthy volunteers, yes.
In that, we have some intervention. It is experimental or interventional study. Then
Yes,
we
intervention. Yeah.
also do randomization in that. So
Yeah,
it is
randomization is there.
definitely a randomized. So
Yes.
by this way, we can describe any kind of study. That is what I
Yeah.
just wanted to convey. That way,
Yes, yes,
we can have
yes.
idea about different kind of study that is already ongoing, or we can think
Exactly.
of
See,
what we plan to do.
yeah, these are the components of methodology. Like if
Yes,
it is prospective or retrospective, as I discussed, controlled or non-controlled, parallel or you know
overlapping.
overlapping. These are all the components of methodology. So it will come in that only, experimental or interventional or observational.
Observation.
So that all will come under the methodology. So it will, in one line we can frame like it is prospective randomized control, prospective randomized, like interventional randomized control trial.
Possibly double blind.
Possibly double blind. Yes, it is double blind
Yeah, sure.
because no one knows
So we,
what's going
yeah,
on,
exactly.
what's the
Exactly. That
component
is how
that.
we can. I was just thinking about giving them the current example, which we are seeing so much in media, that phase 3 trial, what actually, what kind of
No,
study
no,
this
I don't. I
patient
don't think.
achieve.
I don't think it's a phase 3 trial right now, because my friend is working in Bharat Biotech, so I'm getting updates
No,
from him.
not necessarily Indian side. I was just talking about in general. The phase
Yeah,
3
yeah,
trial should
correct,
be like this.
correct.
The phase 3 trial
Yes,
should be
yes.
on human volunteers, and
Hmm.
will be in this study type will be described like this only.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. True. So we have one more question. Does the number of references we cite in our literature review affect the overall presentation of your research project in any ways? This is a controversial question. Actually, I'll say, because see, it depends on your topic. If you have, if they have published or the researchers have done many studies, you will get much more references. If they have not done much things on that, you will get very little references. But it doesn't affect actually. But it should not be very less. Like if you're writing an original manuscript, I'll tell you at least 20 should be there. More than 20 you should cite. At least 20. If you're writing a research publication, if you're writing a case report, it should be at least 10. Case report, at least 10. Research studies, more than 20. If you're writing a review paper, I will suggest more than 50. Okay. If you're writing a systematic review, I'll suggest more than 100. It must be there.
True, true. This is how the evidence is developed. Systemic review is developed by reviewing the paper at most.
Reviewing the
So,
complete literature.
yeah, reviewing the complete research. So
So
that
I
we
can
will
I can
definitely have to view
Yeah,
more paper.
I'm reading one comment from YouTube. Can you provide any proof that government of India has approved the ethical approval in is not needed in survey studies? That's why I told you can confirm. I just heard it from someone. I cannot provide any evidence right now, but you can confirm with someone. I just heard day before yesterday, someone was telling that they have waived off the ethical approvals only for surveys related to COVID or COVID complications. I'm not sure. You can just read out somewhere and you can find out with someone. I'm not sure. I just heard. So I'm just conveying. If you can get the answer, if you can, find out someone like who can give you the more, insight of that, it will be great. And if you get it, please convey it to me also.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, Sweta, shall we wind up?
Yes, sir. So you will talk about the protocol writing on the group later on to the rest of the
Yes, that
participants
will
to
post in the
register.
group. That will
Okay.
post in the group because some students will not be here and they might be interested in protocol writing, or they might be interested in working on the protocol. So that we will discuss. I'll add Dr. Chakshu also, so we can manage there.
Okay, so all right. Thank you so much, both of you, for giving us,
Yes.
so much of your precious time. I mean, we've spent almost, I think, collectively 8 to 10 hours today talking about research and helping young minds through their research initiatives. So thank you both, Dr. Jeet and Dr. Chakshu, for giving us so much of your time. I will end the live now. Just a second.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank
Thank
you
you.
to our audience, whatever whoever is there, and thanks Dr. Chakshu, Sweta, and Devars. You are doing